Well, bloody hell. That was utter garbage. I know it's been a couple hours since the game, but still deflated, to be honest. I'm still deflated. I mean, it's Leeds, it's a derby. Where's the energy? Where's the emotion? Where's the passion? How the players, I know, I get it. We got a Europa League game against Roma, much more important. But you've been off for a week. You've been off for a week. There's no reason for that kind of performance. There's really not. So what's the excuse? What's the excuse? I mean, let's start with the lineup. I did the preview. I said I understand um, why we had the lineup that we did. I understand it. I don't have a big issue. You know, you bring out you pick an 11. You pick certain players. Some of them perform well. Some of them don't. Cool. But you also have substitutions. So the lineup is what it is. I understand why he picked it. When you realize so early that Leeds aren't playing the way that they did in the home game, then you've got to change it. You've got to change it. You've got to change it earlier. He doesn't make any subs at halftime, even though the likes of Pogba and Tuanzebe are warming up. Then on 60 minutes, Pogba and Cavani look like they're getting ready. They don't come on until 75 minutes. No, I lie. Sorry, Pogba comes on at 75 minutes. Cavani came on after 80 minutes. Van der Beek came on just before stoppage time. I mean, what's the point? What is the point? I understand. Yes, I know why certain players didn't play, were rested, blah, blah. I understand. We've got bigger fish to fry, whatever. But what? They can't do 20 minutes. They can't do 30 minutes. Really? What's the point of bringing in Cavani with 10 minutes to go or Van der Beek with 5 minutes to go? They can barely, you're hoping something falls for them and they click it. But a lot of times players need to get the feel of the game, got to get up to it. And you just didn't give them enough time to do that. And, that's been an issue with Solskjaer, especially when we're drawing games. Been an issue with Solskjaer making the change to go for the win because we're often content with a draw at times. And, sitting in second place, where 8 points, no, when it going into the game, we're 7 points ahead of Leicester. We're in a comfortable position in terms of getting top four. We're not going to win the league. Why do I need to go out to force the win? But this is Man United. We should always be going out to force the win. That's the bottom line. That really is the bottom line. So for me, I'm disappointed. Disappointed with the players out there. I mean, Shane says shocking in the final third. The passing, the shooting. I said the shooting. We didn't really have that many clear-cut opportunities. When we had a few chances, they were blocked. Maguire had a header that he should have done better from a corner. The set-piece delivery was average, especially late on the game. It was average. Yeah, I just think the game just lacked from Man United and from Leeds. It just lacked. Leeds were happy with the draw. And I would say I understand why they're happy with the draw. They're just come for the Premier League. They don't want to get bad 6-2. But it's also a derby. Where's the energy? Where's the enthusiasm? They've drawn a lot of games, or all their draws have actually come against the big sides. Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, all at home. All out. I don't know. They're playing Liverpool soon, actually, so we'll see what happens there. But I think we could have done more. Players on the pitch, there are a few opportunities where balls are in advanced positions. Can we make the final pass? I think it's Bruno cuts it back from Mason Greenwood. All you need is a good touch, and for me, that's a goal. Good touch, and you strike there into the goal. Daniel James got in the way of Bruno and then loses the ball for one attack. I think we were poor. It's so hard to put your finger on exactly what it was. Movement, maybe. Just a sharpness. I think we're just lacking sharpness. That's what I'll say. Whether it was the final pass, whether it was... Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, whether it was the final pass, whether it was the final shot, cross, the decision, we're just lacking that final moment. And at no point did it improve. And that's why I think he should have made the substitutions earlier. We should have brought Pogba and Cavani earlier just to change the quality of players in the game. Mawada says, honestly, I didn't think we were that bad. Leeds changed their game completely. And I don't think we were that bad. We just had no quality. Like Melier, how many times was he actually tested? Not many at all. Not many at all. I don't remember, other than Rashford's save from the free kick, I don't remember him really being tested. So it's not that we played horrible. We didn't play bad. We just, when I say bad in terms of we were poor, we should have lost the game. No, Leeds didn't deserve anything out of that game. Didn't deserve anything out of that game. But we were poor because we didn't create enough chances. We were poor because we didn't have our shooting boots on when we got those small chances. Yeah, it was just disappointing, to be honest. Not much more to say other than the fact that we're 10 points behind Man City. 10 points behind Man City with 5 games to go. So 15 points on offer. Man City need 2 wins. So if they win their next 2 games, they win the league. If they win their next game and we lose to Liverpool, they win the league. They'll be 13 points clear with 12 to go. If they lose their next game and we draw, so if they win the next game, and we draw, they'll be 12 points ahead with plus 16 goal difference on us, which would increase, obviously, after that game. That's pretty much a win. Let's win our next 2 games. Win our next 2 games. If they win the next 2, cool. We're 10 points behind. We just keep pushing them. Keep pushing them. 15 points to play for. If we were to win those 15, all those 5 games, that takes us to 82. Unlikely to do that. Unlikely to win our next 5. But if we win 4, that's 12 points. That takes us to 79. Maybe you draw your next one, 80 points. So we need to be looking to be trying to touch on the 80-point barrier this season. But I still don't want to be more than 10 points behind Man City. So we just need to kind of just try and, I know we want to focus on the Europa League, and Thursday I'll do the preview for that. Thursday, therefore, is an important game. But finishing the Premier League strong is still good. What you wouldn't want is to really fall off in the Premier League, finish 3rd, and then still fail to win the Europa League. You don't want to do that. You want to finish in both competitions strong. Mawada says James should have come off early and Pogba should have been in midfield. I understand why Pogba didn't start. In terms of the way that Leeds play generally, it's their energy, their man marking. I understand why they didn't play. We want to be able to match them for running, but have the quality as well. So I understand why he didn't start, but I would have brought him on at halftime and put him into the midfield because we realized Leeds weren't playing that kind of game. They were man-to-man, but they weren't playing that high-intensity running game that they usually do. They were a bit off it as well. So I would have brought on Pogba at halftime, but I understand why he started McTominay and Fred. Shiloh, Chelsea fans says, or Shiloh says, Neeks, did you think Ollie picking McFred in the midfield and protect the CBs was a bad thing to do? I don't think he picked them to protect the centre-backs. I think he picked them to run. He picked the same reason why he picked them in the first game we won 6-2. He picked them to run, and they were both advanced. Like, I haven't got the heat max on it, but they were both advanced. They were playing as 8s and not as 6. Like, when we got into the attacking third, they were both on the edge of the areas, but they were unable to do anything with the ball. So he definitely wasn't picking them to protect the centre-backs. But I would definitely brought on Pogba at half-time. And I'd have brought on Cavani at 60 minutes if we still wasn't winning. Just because you played McTominay and Fred doesn't mean you're necessarily playing defensive. Neither of them are defensive midfielders. They are more defensive-minded than a Pogba or a Van der Beek and a Bruno, of course. But they're not, like, Matic is the only defensive midfielder. Those two are box-to-box midfielders. Fred ain't a defensive midfielder. He's a box-to-box midfielder who excels in defense, and McTominay is a box-to-box midfielder who's probably better going forward. So you put them both together, and it makes one player. They're not actually defensive midfielders in that regard. Nomad says game plan against us is to bully our players all over the pitch. Listen, they were on us. They were like, if there was a crowd there, the crowd would have loved it. They were man to man. They were kicking us. They were fouling us. but we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it, and we didn't deal with it in the sense that we weren't able to kind of overcome it and get a result. In terms of players today, I think that Wan-Bissaka played well. I enjoyed his performance going forward and defensively. He got on the ball and he was confident going forward, beating a man, beating two. There was a time when he was on the right-hand side of the pitch in the final third, and he kind of came out and came back in and went in between and got crosses in. Like, he played well. Probably man the match for us anyway. Maybe Leeds have their own man the match or the overall one, because they, again, a point is better for them than it is for us. But I will say Wan-Bissaka played well, and I did enjoy Greenwood's performance as a striker, because he hasn't played striker for 90 minutes, game in, game out, week in, week out. It's a position he's still learning, but the fact that they were so man-to-man on everyone, it was a test for him, something he has to learn, and I think he did well, because the ball come in and he would trap it, even though he's got someone right on his back. He'll trap it. He will come deep as well. He drifted out wide, had a couple shots. Probably, I'd say he should have done better with a Bruno cutback. A couple times he could have released it earlier to the likes of Rashford, Bruno, James. But I enjoyed his performance because I know it's a position he's learning. So I'm not expecting him to come in and beat Cavani straight away. I understand that. So come Thursday, I want to see Cavani back in that position. Maybe put Greenwood on the right-hand side, or maybe he might go with Pogba and Rashford, or whatever it might be. But I'm happy for Greenwood, Cavani to start again on Thursday. But it's a good learning curve. And maybe Greenwood will start in the Premier League between now and the end of the season, and Cavani will start the Europa League and come off the bench in the Premier League. Both of them shouldn't be playing both at the same time because of Martial's injury. You have to really be careful and make sure they're both fully fit and fully rested for the games, one or the other, as far as I'm concerned. Jeremiah said, why on earth is Ollie out trending after a draw? Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Why they trend out after a draw, and when we have a semi-final on Thursday? Because people ain't got nothing better to do. It's not even worth a discussion, to be honest. Ollie's not getting sacked. We're finishing the top four. He's getting a new contract. And there's not much more that people can do about it. So I'm not even going to waste my energy. Let's be honest. I'm not. Mo Wada says AWB broke the press so easily over and over. He has improved that so much. Just needs to improve his passing and crossing a little. Agreed. And I think he's got a good cross on him. He's actually got a good cross on him. He does put it in when he's on formal. He has that quality, but it's the consistency of it that we're not seeing at the moment. But he definitely, listen, going forward, he's definitely improved his season. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's better going forward now than he was when we first signed him. And nobody can convince me differently. But it's, you expect that as a progression of a young right back who thrives in the defensive situations, playing at a bigger team. You expect him to improve going forward. Joel says, midfield is such a key area in the game. If we had a decent CDM this season and avoid Fred, we could have turned 0-0 draws into wins and potentially be the title race. 100% agree with you. Because when you play one defensive midfielder, it allows you to get another creative player on the pitch, whether it be Pogba, whether it be Van der Beek. You get another creative player on the pitch because you don't have to worry. You don't have to play two players to do one person's job. I think we would be in a place. We're 10 points behind. All you do is turn 2 of those draws into wins. That's 4. Yes, you're 6 points behind. 6 points behind with 15 to go. You've got a chance. You turn 3 of those draws into wins. You're 4 points behind. You're in the title race. So I 100% agree. It's those little tiny things, and that's why we need to make sure we finish the season strongly. Get the players we need to do in the summer, which goes on to the question that Sheila asked earlier. Get the players we need to get in the summer and go again next year. Make sure we finish it strongly first and foremost. In the summer, what do you think is the number one priority in the summer? CDM or centre-back? CDM. You can get away with these 2 centre-backs. You can. If you have a world-class or top-quality defensive midfielder. If you had Kante, for example, you can get away with Lindelof and Maguire, or Baye and Maguire, or Tuanzebe and Maguire, whatever it might be. You can get away with it. We need them both. We need both CDM and a centre-back. But you can, if you get a centre-back and no CDM, you're still going to have to play McFred. A lot of the time. Maybe not all the time. If you get a Varane, maybe you can say, oh, we trust you a bit more. So we'll just play one of Fred and McTominay. But again, neither of them are defensive midfielders. And you're not going to play Matic. Like, Matic is done now. His time is up. So you're still gonna be playing that kind of square pegs in round holes. Yeah, I guess you have to play a double pivot, which means that Pogba plays deeper. I think the CDM is the most important, or in terms of those two positions. Probably the most important. No, the most important overall. If we can only sign one player this season, one position, I want Sancho desperately. I really do. But if you're talking about what's the most important to give us a balanced side, consider, especially if Pogba stays. If Pogba stays, CDM. If Pogba leaves, of course we need to replace him, but we need a right winger because we need quality creators in our squad and on the pitch. We should beat Roma. Do you think Pogba will play on the left? I think he will, actually. I don't think he'll play in the midfield. I think he'll play these two in the midfield. And I think McFred, and I think he'll play Pogba on the left. And yeah, at least he'll start like that, and he may change it as it goes. So at the end, Bielsa played different. I think was it you said that in the? Yeah, I think you did say that in the preview from his pre-match press conference. You did feel he's going to play more defensively. We couldn't adapt. We desperately needed to change our play. I was crying out. I was crying for footballers to come in. McTominay poor. It's not the Olympics at the end. No, agreed. And we should have changed at halftime. We saw that they play differently. So we can't go with the same plan that we started. Solskjaer spoke about, he picking the likes of Dan James, etc., because we saw how they played in the first game. Well, 45 minutes in or less, you would have realized that they weren't playing the same way as the first game. So why are we still playing the same way as the first game? We had to change it early, and he didn't do that. Do you think VDB should just leave because Oli is treating him unfairly? What does he have to do to start ahead of McFred? Like today, he only brings him on for 2 minutes. I think it's completely wrong to bring him on for a few minutes at the end. Leave him on the bench if you're going to do that, or give him some more time. Like, Pogba should have come on at halftime. Cavani should have come in at 60 minutes, and Van der Beek at the very latest should have come in at 75, at the very latest, if we were still losing the game. So I think he's completely wrong with that. I think he could have been given more games this season, 100%, but no, I don't think he should leave. I think one more season, we'll see. One more season, we'll see, and then we make a decision. Shane says AWE is okay at crossing, but the problem is he sometimes takes the ball too far down the line. I mean, if he does, he sometimes has to stretch the cross. Yeah, he's not technically the best or even the most gracious looking player, and he does need to improve going forward. Joel says Carrick and Keane were CDM, and one of the main reasons we were successful in the 90s and 2000s. Well, listen, between 2000 and we're on the Premier League in 2003, so 2004, 5, and 6. Keane was on the way down. He had a few injuries, and we got rid of him, I think, in 2005, and we hadn't won a Premier League. We were finishing third in the league. We won a League Cup, getting knocked out of Champions League. We bought Carrick in 2006, won 3 Premier Leagues in a row, Champions League, League Cups. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. You need someone who's going to control the game and allow your better players, your more creative players to go forward. The likes of, at the time, it was Scholes, it was Giggs, Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez. Now it's Rashford, Bruno, Pogba, Greenwood, obviously Cavani at the moment. We need someone to allow those players to control the game, to break up play and give it to the better players. Fernandinho. The club priorities is the centre-back. United are looking at Koundé, Varane, and others. I think a defensive midfielder is very unlikely in the summer. Plus, I think that if we get a CB, we don't have to play 2 CDMs. In most games, we probably don't, but I think at times we still would have to. I think at times. Maybe not. But if you don't, what you then have to do is play Pogba deeper, which takes away from his best attributes. So if you have to play Pogba with Fred or Pogba with McTominay, even with a centre-back, you're still asking Pogba to do more defensive work than we really should be. I think the best option for CDM, if we can do it, is Declan Rice with Lingard going the other direction. Van der Beek has played more minutes. Van Dijk has played more minutes than Van der Beek. I did hear that. I did know that. how important is Europa League to win? I think at this stage of the season it is. We're not fighting for everything in the Premier League. So not winning the Europa League, there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse whatsoever not to win this Europa League at this point now, considering the quality of teams in the competition and where our priorities lie. Now, granted, everyone's priorities right now is probably in the Europa League. Like Arsenal, they're not doing anything in the league. Villarreal, I don't think they can get top 4. Roma, I don't think they can get top 4. So everyone's going to have their priorities on it. So I understand that as well. But we should be winning it. Last year, I forgive them. You know, we should have beat Sevilla, 100%. The way we played, we should have beat them. We missed all the chances. But we were so focused on getting the top 4. We kind of burnt out our players by the end of the season. Like, by that little period, it was the same 11, game in, game out, game. You know, we rested them in the FA Cup games against Norwich and Chelsea. But in the Premier League, it was just non-stop. And then we had a little break and then went straight into the Europa League. But they had just played like 11 games straight, constant, like full. You know, if we went up early, then we make some substitutions, but it was non-stop after being down for 2 months. So I understand the different dynamics last year. This year, we gotta win it. We gotta win it. If Oli bottles the Europa League, do you think he's the man? As it stands anyway, I don't think he's the one to take us to the major trophies, Premier League, Champions League. That's what I'm talking about. If he wins the Europa League, I'll have more faith that he can, possibly, to change my mind and say he can win Premier League, Champions League. If he doesn't, it will just confirm what I currently think, that he's not the man to take us to win the Premier League and Champions League. But I will still give him one more year to get us into a position where we say, all right, this squad is ready to win. Then we get in the manager who can do the winning. But the squad ain't even there yet. And Ollie's taking us on a journey where we're improving season on season. We're getting better players. That's why we need to have a big summer. And I actually pray that with all the protests and everything that we're talking about that's happening, the owners feel the pressure. I want them to sell. But if they're not going to sell, the bare minimum is to invest in the squad. So we put enough pressure on and don't do things like Ollie out after we draw a bloody game, then we can put some pressure on them to actually have a good summer. Where Shane says he doesn't think we'll get a CB and a defensive midfielder. Well, we put enough pressure where they say we're going to have to do it or the fans are going to be out in force. We're going to have to go out and spend big. It's our money. We're not asking them to put their money into it, We ask them to spend the money that we as a club generate and not take bloody dividends and try and build a bottom line. Put some money into this club. Final comment here from Joe Abraham said, Basuma is a sensible signing, not expensive, and can use money on Sancho and possibly a centre-back. Basuma is a sensible signing. I look at him more as a box-to-box midfielder. More on the defensive side, to be fair. But I'm sure he got the traits more of a box-to-box. That's how I always felt of him. I need to probably watch him a bit more. But he definitely would be better with next to Pogba than a Fred or McTominay, 100%. How much you paid for him? What, 35 million maybe? Bruno saying he will stay if Pogba stays is huge if that is true. I don't know how true it is. The report that it came from, I think it was a tabloid press. That's the first thing. Secondly, Bruno's got like 4 years left on his contract anyway. So whether Pogba signs or not, it's not like we're at risk of losing Bruno. Of course, you may lose him mentally, but it's not a case of, we need Bruno to sign a new contract or he's going to leave. He's got like 4 years left. So yeah, it's not a big issue. It's not a big issue. But guys, listen, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We go again Thursday. Roma must win game. Get to that Europe. Well, obviously first leg, but get to that Europa League final and hopefully bag a trophy. Finish the season strong. We got Liverpool next up. A protest as well on Sunday against the Glazers. Hopefully we get good numbers. Hopefully even a bigger turnout. We had over 3,000, somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 over at Old Trafford yesterday. Hopefully we get more next Sunday when we play Liverpool, and we can really push this club forward both on and off the field. Smash the like button. And I'll see you soon.